Hello, beautiful and smart investor. It's your favorite realtor, Chites Realtor. Today, I want us to discuss the necessary things to know before acquiring a property, the necessary knowledge, the necessary information you have to have or know before you go to acquire a property. Remember to click on the notification button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, click on the notification button so that whenever we post relevant information like this, you will get the notification and you will get the knowledge. The first thing to consider before buying a property is the location of that property. Your purpose or the aim of you buying that property determines the location. You wouldn't want a residential place and be going inside village to go buy a property. No. Your purpose determines the location. If you want place of residence, you will have to go to a habitable environment and buy that property. If you want it for business, you will still have to go to developed place to buy that property. But if you want it for land banking, that is when you can talk of going to places that are not developed or places that are developing gradually to buy, knowing that obviously development is gradually going to that place and it will appreciate. So if you want a property where you will reside in, you don't expect to buy it at the same price as the one that is in a place that is yet to be developed. You will have to go in an area that has all the things you need. If you have children, your children would go to school, your children would enjoy social amenities, you will also enjoy social amenities. You need good road where you can easily ride and go to your place of work. You need good environment where you can stay and live peacefully without encumbrances. Therefore, if you want a property that is for residence or for business, you will have to buy it in a developed area, in a very developed area, a place that is already well habitable, place that is already well habited by people, so that you can enjoy the benefits that comes with that. But then if you want a property for land banking, a lot of smart investors buy properties in areas that are developing and then wait till when that area is developed. They either erect a structure there, they develop the land, or they resell the land. When you're talking about these places, when you're talking about this land banking, now you are free to go inside some rural areas where you know that there are gradual developments or where there are great potentiality of development. You buy the properties at cheap prices and wait for it to appreciate, for development to come towards that place. You sell and get your returns. And this is what a lot of people do. They buy properties in areas that are developing and they resell when there is a whole lot of development and get the appreciation. That is why you see people telling you, I bought this property years back at 1 million naira and now I'm selling at 20 million, I'm selling at 30 million. A lot of people take that smart move. Then the second thing to consider when buying a property is the budget you have at hand. The budget, the money you have at hand really matters when you are going to acquire a property, because you cannot have 5 million naira at hand and you are going to buy exactly a property of 5 million naira. No, it doesn't work that way, because aside acquiring property there is more to it. You pay for the documentation, you pay for developmental fees if it's an estate, you pay for agency, there are some other things you pay for. So if you have 5 million naira, you have to be looking at property of 3.5 million, 4 million, so you don't run the risk of selling that property back to resuscitate yourself, or you don't run the risk of putting up that property up for sale again immediately because you want to get back your money, maybe putting it up as a distress sale, even selling it at a lower price than what you bought it, because you are going bankrupt, you have nothing on you again. So in as much as you want to acquire a property, the money you have at hand really matters. You have to buy a property that you would buy and you will still have money in case of eventualities. Anything can happen and you would need money to fall back to. Your property might appreciate, but remember, when you most times when people sell their property as distress sale, they don't really get as much as they were supposed to when they sell it normally. So you don't want to find yourself in that situation where after buying a property, you are now having a big issue that you need to solve with money, and because you have used every of your savings to acquire a property, you are now putting up that property for distress sale. In as much as acquiring a property is good, it's very, very wonderful. It's good you work with your budget. If you have 5 million, if you have 10 million, go for a property that will not consume the exact amount of money you have. A property that will take lesser amount, because eventualities occurs and then there are more things to pay for other than the price of that land, the price of that property. The third thing to consider when buying a property, which is one of the very necessary things, is the verification of that property. Lawyers will say, do your due diligence. Due diligence, verify properly if that property is authentic, if it is genuine. A lot of people have made the mistake of buying properties that are subject to litigation in court, buying property that have no good title, defective title, buying property that are not even in existence, but you have the documents, but that property does not exist in anywhere on this earth surface. The property on the document you're having is not in existence. So many people have run the risk of buying such property, especially our people outside who most times just acquire without any due verification or anything. But it's very, very necessary that before you buy a property, you check out if that property is genuine. You can do it with yourself, you can do it by yourself, with your lawyer, with a surveyor, with a trusted realtor. First and foremost, you can do it the modern way of either going to Ministry of Land and checking if that particular plot, if that particular property is registered, duly registered in Ministry of Land. Know if it is an area that the government has mapped out for a particular development or a particular structure. If it is a government mapped out area, don't buy it. If it's an area that government has mapped out, maybe to build school, build hospital, you don't buy it, because if you erect anything on that particular property, it will be demolished at the end of the day. So you go to Ministry of Land, know if that land is duly registered, if it is a government if it is an area that government has mapped out, or it is a free zone. The next thing is to go to court to know if that property is subject to litigation. You can easily do this through your lawyer. But the problem is that a lot of people fail to involve a lawyer when buying a property. And the irony of the whole story is that nearer or soon, they will need the service of that same lawyer they refuse to involve in the beginning. And the problem, the irony also, the funniest part of it is that they pay higher at that stage because cases will now arise. So, with the help of your lawyer, you could check if a property you are trying to acquire is subject of litigation in court. If that property is in dispute, you run completely away from it. You run far away from it, because if you go ahead and buy that property, you are buying cases, you are buying issues for yourself. Next thing is going to the location of that property and asking around. You ask people in that area, does this land actually belong to Mr. Okeke? Does this land belong to so and so person? The person selling it, is it the true owner of that land? Because someone could be in possession of a land and not be the owner of the land. Possession is different from ownership. And the funniest part of it is that a lot of things are going on, a lot of things are going wrong. Someone in possession might want to sell the property when he's not the owner. So when you now eventually buy this property, you see that you are not just buying a property, you are buying cases, matters, you are buying issues for yourself. So due diligence is very, very necessary. You check the documentation very well. You could have a document that in front it is boldly written that it is deed of assignment, whereas the wordings of that document is pointing at deed of lease. And these are things that will arise later or tomorrow. That is why you need a lawyer whenever you are buying a property. It is your lawyer that will read the document and make sure that this document is authentic. This document of this property is actually talking about that property. A document could be talking about a different property altogether. You check if the number on the document you are having is aligning with the beacon number on the property you are buying. So there are a lot of things you need to check to avoid buying issues. You check the interest the seller has in that property. If he actually has the right interest, if he's the true owner of the property he's passing to you. So due diligence is very, very necessary to avoid buying cases for yourself. After you've checked the property and seen that it's genuine, and the location is what you want, and the budget you have can cover up for the payments and the other expenses that is involved, then you go ahead and pay for your property. In payment, I advise my clients, no, no, no to cash payments. Don't pay for a property in cash. Pay through a means that you can generate evidence, through e-transfer, or you go to the bank and make the payment. Let there be an evidence, let there be a receipt, let there be a means that you can be able to prove that yes, I paid for this. Sometimes I even advise them, tell your lawyer to draft a document where the seller will sign and you, the buyer, you will also sign to show that yes, you paid for so and so property. So my dear people, I hope you enjoyed this session. What we mentioned, the first thing we mentioned is location, second thing is the budget, third thing is the verification. We discuss the verification together with the documentation. Then the last thing is the payment. I do hope to see you buying a property soon.